welcome to the latest live edition of Last World Boxing. Just before I launch into the pleasantries, I'd just like to take an opportunity to offer all my and the channel's well-being to everyone who's affected at the parade, Liverpool parade on Monday. I'm sure the guys will join me in wishing everybody all the best moving forward. Okay, joined by regulars Orkan. Good evening, Orkan from Scandinavia.
Good evening, Carl.
Joined by someone a little bit closer to me, Mick. How you going, Mick?
Very well, thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Best boxer in the game, according to Andy. Daz Medcalf. How you going, Daz?
Yeah, but he said best boxing trainer, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So a massive accolade from
Yeah,
Andy.
he's obviously, yeah, I had a few of that.
How you going, fella? All right?
Yeah, I had a few, Anna. All right, mate, you?
Yeah, last but not least, all the way transatlantic style. Brett, how you going?
Good, lads. How you all doing?
All living the dream, I'm sure we all are. So we're going to jump straight in, lads, okay? So first topic, an interesting one. Friday night at Doncaster, Terry Harper, which obviously Orkan will remind us that he was at the fight, no doubt. Got her arm lifted. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't very impressed by the matchmaking. I wasn't very impressed, but I suppose you've got to do what you got to do. So, come to you first, Orkan. It's only right that I come to you first, being Terry's biggest fan and all that. So, what did you think of the fight being so close, and where does she go next? Does her surname start with a D?
I understand why they took Natalie Zimmerman, but I could agree that we could have been a better opponent. Natalie Zimmerman was ranked 9 by the WBO when the fight was signed and ranked 10 when they fought. So, but I understand why they took her, and I think Terry did what I was expected. I think that if she had fought a better opponent, she could have been tougher for her with the pressure on the homecoming in Doncaster. She did what she should have done, but I can agree with people that are on an opinion that she should have stopped her opponent. But Natalie was gained and took a lot of shots from Terry and stayed up. But the whole card, there were some good fights and some fights that I was expected more from. But I had a great time all 3 days. I was there from the presser, so it was nice to be there. And going forward, what's the future is. I believe that the Caroline Dubois fight will be next. When Terry was asked at the presser about Caroline Dubois, and after the fight, we can see that fight happened. But Terry also revealed in an interview after that she thinks she is free agent now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So if the Caroline Dubois fight will happen, boxer need to come out with a good offer for Terry Harper to take the fight, and so we will wait to see. But I think that the fight could happen, but not before November. It might take that maybe November time if they could crack a deal.
And in one word, Orkan, who wins?
I will wait with my prediction to a couple of weeks before, when I know a little bit more.
That's not good cricket, is it, lads? But I'll move on, Orkan. I'll move on. I'll come to Daz next. Obviously, an insider in the game, Daz. Give us your thoughts on Harper's performance and also where you think she goes next.
She did what she had to do. She beat who was in front of her. Yeah, I mean, listen, Zimmerman wasn't the greatest opponent, but why would you have someone as popular as Terry, who does as many tickets as Terry? Why would you chuck a banana skin in her homecoming? You're not going to, are you? From a promoter's point of view, she did what she had to do. Nah, listen, let's hear him with Dubois or Ferreira next. I think it's more than likely going to be Dubois, but let's see it.
And who wins, Daz, if it's Dubois?
I've seen a few chinks lately in Caroline, to be fair, but I do think that she's a better fighter, if I'm honest. So I think Caroline would win.
Okay, thank you very much. Mick, coming to you. I might be being a bit harsh on Zimmerman regarding, because she's a tough girl, wasn't she? Took a lot of shots. Give us your breakdown, fella, and where you think Terry goes next.
Yeah, I mean, she managed to take the shots well, but she just wasn't at the level, was she? She was put in there for the homecoming. It's like Orkan was saying, that the ranking it wasn't credible. It wasn't a credible opponent if you look at rankings wise. Terry did what she needed to do. It was underwhelming, the fact that she couldn't get the girl out of there, to be honest. But I don't see anywhere Terry can go apart from the big fight with Dubois. It's the biggest fight for her. She can't go down weight because she struggles. She can't go up because it's Katie Taylor and the likes of Cameron at 140. She got a right pasting when she went to 147 by Sandy Ryan. So she's sort of stuck in this 135 now. So the biggest fight's got to be Dubois. I don't think she lasts the distance with Dubois. I agree with Daz. We've seen a little bit of fragility from Dubois, but I think we're going to see learnings from that. And I think she probably stops Terry Harper. I think we see something similar to the Baumgardner fight, where we see her get stopped on her feet.
That was a brutal stoppage, that Baumgardner, though. Would you think it follows that bad a stoppage, you reckon?
Yeah, I think we'll see that. I mean, the one thing we've got to say about that Baumgardner stoppage, the referee was first class. He was in there before she took any unnecessary shots. But Terry Harper's had a great career. I mean, when you look at the story, working in a chip shop, getting picked up by Steffi Bull back in the gym, nobody expected her to do what she did. When she picked up that IBO title, we were talking like that was her level. That was the best she was going to get. And then obviously she's added the WBC, moved to 154, etc. She's had a great career, but she's had some wars. And I think now we're looking at that crossover period where there's young, hungry fighters coming up, and Dubois will take her out, I think.
Brett, last but not least, same question to you. You know, what did you think of the performance, and where does she go next?
I think it looked like she had a great camp. She was in fantastic condition. And if you saw like the legs going in, like the muscles on her thigh, like she looked. But I feel like after that first round, where every time she says she's wincing like this, I think she probably, the motivation went out of her. It was just like, this is an easy night's work, and it wasn't that kill mentality. It was more a case of, it's my homecoming. I don't want to do anything too reckless. This girl's easy there for the taking. And yeah, she was tough, but she's got to be getting somebody out of there if you're talking about the next fight on. What I will say is, for Terry Harper, the correct decision, because there is miles on the clock now. There is miles on the clock. I mean, I was surprised to realize she's only 28, isn't she?
Yes.
Is Terry only 28?
Yes.
Yeah, so She's only 28, but look, she'll get in there with anybody. She's had some tough nights' work. And one thing I'll say, different to Daniel, and I know we're all saying obviously Daniel's the new heavyweight king. Caroline's a bit cocky and a bit more charismatic than Daniel, and she'll carry eyes to this fight with her mouth, and so it's a big money fight. People will tune in and watch it. So for me, if the people behind Terry are being craftier, they'll get her a right load of dough to take this fight, and I don't disagree with either what the last two have said in terms of I can only see a Caroline win. I don't know if she does knock her out, but I think she takes some serious punishment in the fight.
Okay. Moving on to the next topic, lads. So Moses Atama was out again. Some people in some quarters saying that he's being looked after a little bit too much. I'm not so sure about that, but Daz, didn't learn nothing new from that latest performance, right? So what did you think? He done what he needed to. Give us your thoughts on his performance, but where would you take him next? Because you can't move him too quickly, surely. He's only 20. But then again, you can't keep jumping in.
You've got to
keep that. Difficult one.
Yeah, you've got to think. You've got to think what are we moving him to? You know, I mean, obviously take Joshua, Dubois, Usyk, and Fury out. Who are we moving him to? I mean, we're not going to put him in. I doubt he's going to go in with Caballero.
What about Foley, like they keep mentioning?
But to be fair, mate, I asked myself, what would he do? Mate, I'd pick him to win, Caballero. I'd pick him to beat everybody else.
What about rounds, though? Bacoli would give him rounds, wouldn't he? Or would he? I don't know. I don't know.
Would he?
Yeah.
Would he? I mean, Bacoli come in awful shape for that last fight. I mean, I look at Itauga and think, because of the level of opposition, I mean, let's be fair, with Marius Vac, I mean, yeah, good name, but shot to pieces. Yeah. This kid who he's just fought, awful. I always think to myself, when you've got an heavyweight who's like blistering through opponents like he is, listen, he's not been smacked on chin yet.
No.
We've got to reserve that little bit of excitement, but I am excited for him because I think he's a cracking fighter.
Yeah.
Now, I will go on record as saying, if Moses Itauga can take a punch, the heavyweight division's in trouble. But, you know, listen, you can count on probably one hand heavyweights who can take flush shots off 16 stone plus men. I sort of wonder if when they're keeping it this sort of opposition, I sort of think two things. One, has things happened in sparring that, you know, have raised some questions, or do they want to just build him with high-profile, spectacular knockouts? Now, the second one is all right, but he's got to go to deep waters at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got to be asked a question.
I feel for him
I think personally he'll answer it.
I feel for him a little bit because he can't win with his fight fans, can you? You know, you know what I mean?
No, he can't. And do you know what? He seems such a likable lad and all. So, yeah, I mean, listen, he needs better opposition than what he's just faced. Because then people will start asking questions. If not, people are going to say, well, what are they?
Who would you throw him in with then,
Dad?
Dad?
Waiting for?
Give me a name.
I'll be honest, mate. I'd give him winner of Wardley and Justice.
Good chat.
I would, because if we're to believe everything what people are saying, and these people who I know personally who have seen him up close and have said he's phenomenal, listen, get it done. You know, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Interesting. It's a conundrum. It's a difficult one, though, isn't it, from a matchmaking perspective? Difficult one.
It is, yeah, it is. But come on,
Yeah.
let him off. Let him off. If he's as good as what they're saying, the people who are up close to him, let him off.
Yeah, fair enough. Mick, coming to you next. Same question to you, fellas. So, what? Obviously, I think we're all going to agree we didn't learn nothing new in that last performance. So, give us your breakdown and where would you take him next?
He's he's so exciting to watch. He's just, when you think of the potential of the kid, he's so exciting. For me, the stoppage, the shot that he stopped there, that he won with the stoppage, it was a perler. That little step back check right up was just a perler. For me, I've got receipts. I've sent Brett a voice note about 4 or 5 years ago. I genuinely believe that he could go in with anybody right now and hold his own. And if he lands the shots, he beats anybody bar Usyk. For me, I genuinely believe that. There's not many heavyweights who naturally can move like he does. He moves like a light heavy or a super middleweight. The quickness of the guy, the feet, the footwork in and out. I'm going to go a little bit left field when it comes to his next opponent, though. We've heard the sparring stories from when he's 15 and he apparently put manners on the likes of Lawrence Okoli. Okoli's now at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Why not put them in together, build it on the back of those sparring stories, have a little jeopardy in there, and just see how Moses can handle that pressure. See if he can do the business against a big, long, heavy-handed heavyweight now, who's awkward. Okoli's not a nice fight for anybody. He's awkward. But I just think, given the situation and given all the history, that may be an interesting fight, you know. I don't see the point in Okoli. Okoli's just, the way he's turned up the last 2 fights, you can forgive him for the Parker fight. The last one, it was just, if you're not going to live the life, don't turn up, because it was just pathetic. Caballel, I genuinely think he beats Caballel. I think he's just too classy for him. I think he picks him apart. So for me, I'll go left field. I'd say Okoli next fight and see how he handles that pressure.
Okay, thank you very much. Brett, coming to you next. Same questions, fella.
Yeah, I mean, just to watch him and his footwork and his hand speed. And I disagree with Mick on the Okoli thing, because Okoli's come out saying he would never want it. He's actually been brutally honest enough to say that he did manhandle him at 15. And Okoli's stunk enough places out to be knocked out by this fresh 20-year-old. So he needs to think about his career and getting a couple of paydays. The other thing I would suggest is what I agree with what you're saying there earlier on, Carl, in that you got to feel sorry for him, because he puts him over when they put him in front of him. But these are the learning fights that he should be having. These are the learning fights. He is only a baby in the sport. He's, you know, that pipe dream of being the youngest world ever champion is gone now. So do build him properly. However, the next thing is, the next run of the level are going to want to pay money. And is Warren ready to do some dough on him? Because he's going to need to do some dough on him here, because he's going to have to entice somebody to come in the ring with him that's got a bit of a profile. And, you know, I think he's got one more fight in him. He needs a name. He's got one more fight in, and then Turkey's going to take over. Turkey's going to go, right, over to me. And then we'll start seeing him in with bigger oppositions. I mean, I don't know how shot to bits that Jared Anderson is, but that would be an interesting. I know Okoli manhandled him, but that would be another interesting step on the ladder.
What about Dillian White?
I think that's AJ's 0.6.270. Right. I think that's done for that's AJ. And that's a good fight for both of them. They're both washed up now, I suppose. And there's some needle there. We'll all buy it. It's sellable. There'll be a few chairs thrown and what have you. It'll be interesting watch. With Moses, I agree that we're onto something very special here, and it will come down to, will Warren pay the money, and who's going to accept the fate that they might be on the end of a book here that runs them over. So and Okoli, I've said it. I've said it over and again. He ain't shown me anything. We're going off what Bekele did to Jared Anderson because of the hype that the Americans put on Jared Anderson. But let's have it right. If we all know a bit about something, none of us were impressed with Jared Anderson anyway. He looked the part. Good-looking American champ. Just carries his weight, 245 pounds, looks like an Adonis, can sit behind the jab. He's got his hands down his side. And Bekele just went, I'm just going to stick it on you and see what happens.
Yeah.
And he did. So the Bekele fight, I think it's a cracking fight for the management team to get hold of. And I don't know where Billy's at right now. He's trying to get a nutritionist in. Does Billy go, that might be a decent cash out for both of us as well? Because I don't know where I can take Bekele after this.
No. Okay, cheers. Last but not least, Orkan. Give us your views.
Yeah, I didn't catch up with the fight from Glasgow. I was traveling from Doncaster then. But for the future, I think there are one fight still before they step up big in opposition. And when I'm looking at the WBO ranking, where Itoma is number one, Filip Hrgovic number two, and I think that fight could happen after next one. So I'm going for opponent like Jared Anderson, maybe Murat Gassiev, who's ranked by the WBO in his next fight. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is Itoma now gonna be on the Usyk Dubois 2 undercard at
Rumor has it, no opponent announced yet, obviously, but rumor has it, yeah. Gassiev's a very interesting one because he's going to move around and he's not going to sit there, is it? So that he might get a few rounds out of Gassiev, maybe, but once you catch him,
so Gassiev is my take on his next opponent.
Not a bad shot. Okay, moving on then. Massive upset in Glasgow. Obviously, me and Dad's the only proper Nottingham lads on the show, seeing as Brett's defaulted pretending to be Canadian. So, obviously, we was happy with the result. I'm going to come to Mick first on this. You're only across the border, aren't you? A little bit in Derbyshire, Mick. So, you can adopt to be Nottingham if you want for one night. Upset. Obviously, Josh, this is a bit of a homecoming for Josh. It wasn't meant to go that way, was it? Ekow put it on him. Give us your breakdown. And where does Ekow go next? And where does Josh Taylor go next? Over to you.
It wasn't a massive upset, I don't think. I think people who think it was a massive upset weren't giving Ekow the credit he deserves going into the fight, to be honest.
He doesn't get the credit.
Especially,
he doesn't get the credit, does that? Ekow?
He doesn't. He never does. He's done the hard miles. He's had the graft to get to where he is. And with Josh coming up in weight as well, I just don't think people gave Ekow the props that he deserved going into the fight. I mean, the way the fight started, I honestly looked at them first 2 rounds and I thought, Jesus, we've got Josh Taylor back. He's banished the demons of 140 of Jack Cattrall and Teo Lopez, and he's back. And then out of the first 6 rounds, I had it 5-1 to Josh, and I didn't give him any more after that. Once we hit round 7, I think Ekow just took over. It's just, I think the naturally bigger guy and who holds that weight well just started to take over and land his shots. I mean, I like Josh, and for what he's done, he deserves to be up there. He's alongside Ken Buchanan for the greatest Scottish fighter of all time at this point in time. And that run that he went on to get to undisputed is just absolutely unmatched. I mean, at one point he went something like 10 opponents in a row. It was something like 220 wins and 3 losses at the time when he's running through the likes of Victor Postel and people like that. So what he's done, it was just phenomenal. But to be honest, if he's finished at 140, clearly, hence he's moved up. And for me, if he can't take out I would say Ekow's a European level fighter at 147, then he's got no business competing with any higher level there. For me, the only fight that he's got left now to really cash out is doing the third fight with Cattrall. But in my eyes, he got a decision on the first, but he lost. He did lose both fights in my eyes. If you look now at where Josh is, I haven't seen him genuinely win a fight since the Ramirez fight. The first Cattrall was questionable, then Teo, Cattrall again, and now Ekow. I'd like to see Josh hang it up. I don't want to see somebody who's got all the way to undisputed and then turned into a bit of a stepping stone. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see him hang him up and ride off into the sunset as a family man now.
And what about Ekow? He's earned his 9 yards. He's done all the graft going through the levels. Does he deserve a world title shot like Warren's saying?
I'd love to see him get it. I would. But for me, for all I do like Ekow. I don't think he's at the level to win a world title. I think if he was to get a shot, it's more out of sentiment to say that he's fought for a world title. I don't think he's got any shot of actually winning a world title, to be honest. I think European level at best. And well, I suppose that says what I think about Josh Taylor now. But yeah, I'd like to see him get a world title because it finishes the story off, doesn't it? But I don't think he wins a world title, put it that way.
Okay, thank you very much. Brett, coming to you. Give us your thoughts on Taylor. Is he a spent force, and where he goes next?
I agree with Mick. I thought, wow, he's back at the start of the fight, which I thought it was going to be a rough night for Ekow at that stage. But one thing I noticed in the build-up, and he's walked to the ring, he looks like he's aged physically in his face, Josh Taylor. Like these camps have been hard for him, and the demons have, like, you know, I know he won the first Cattrall fight, but the reality is his last 3 fights he's not had his way at all. And so the moment Ekow said, "I'm not going anywhere," those demons started to come racing back, I think. And Ekow deserves every little praise he gets because fair play to the judges as well. You know, it's easy to every time Taylor lands one for him to scream and shout, and they watch the fight, and the right man won. And what I did like as well is it was a really cool interview with Addy afterwards, and Addy was like giving him his props. He said, I've seen your career. You've done it the right way. Yeah. You've worked hard for this. You deserve your accolades and your credit right now. And I suppose with Taylor is he done, or does he want one more big fight, as in a cash out fight? And there could be a Conor Ben cash out fight. There could be, because I know what you're saying, Mick. None of us purists want to see it, but they can sell it to the viewers, right? They can sell. Taylor will tell him he's useless. He's a drug cheat, and then he'll tell him you got beat by Ekow. Like it'll build something. If there's
you'd buy it, you'd watch it.
Yeah. So look, all credit. Keep this one short. All credit to Ekow. Fantastic. So made up for him. I hope he gets a big money fight next, and something that he can put a legacy to.
Yeah, you could have said fellow Nottingham lad, but that ship sailed. Never mind. Okay, moving on to you, fella. Obviously, you'd have been travelling at the time of the fight, I'd imagine. So maybe just jump on and see what you think Josh Taylor does next.
The only fight out there for Josh Taylor is the trilogy with Jack Cattrall, money-wise, and then call it a day. Maybe that's what could happen, but we have to wait and see. Jack Cattrall versus Harlem Eubank.
He's got his hands full there, or can't he? Let's be honest, Cattrall's got his hands full there with Harlem Eubank. Yeah.
And so, but with Ekow Essuman, I think European next, but I know the European title is already ordered for Samuel Molina against an opponent I can't remember. So his chance at the European will be at the back end of the year, I think. But I think European could be a good step up for Ekow Essuman.
Okay, thank you very much. And last but not least, Daz, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but for Wheels to come off like it did during the second half of the fight, do you make an excuse that it's his first time at the weight, or does alarm bells ring for you?
Yeah, alarm bells have got to ring, mate. And also, you know, when I sat and thought about the fight before it happened, I actually put some money on Ekow to win. I just thought it was all wrong. I thought, what a tough opponent for your first fight at 147.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, listen, first couple of rounds, yeah, I mean, Taylor looked good, but then it just, like you said, wheels came off. You know, he's got some options, but these options are media fights where they can go back and forth with each other at press conferences and build a bit of interest. You know, it can do that with Conor Benn. He could probably do it. We could do it with Catterall. Winner of Catterall Eubank, maybe. Listen, I don't want to see him. He looked a shadow of himself in them last rounds. Looked a shadow. He's got to just ask himself what he wants to do.
Yeah.
You know, we can't answer that for him, but you know, I would like to see if he's going to perform like that. You know, I would. He's slowly been slipping, hasn't he? He's not.
Yeah.
You know, he had some tough fights. He had some tough fights in amateurs as well.
And Daz, when you've been at the
so
pinnacle,
maybe it's.
When you've been at the pinnacle of the sport like he has, surely you must struggle for motivation as you drop through them levels, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Catterall fight, the first one would have been a massive wake up to him because he'd have thought he was on an whole new level to Catterall. He probably took Catterall a bit lightly, for honest.
Yeah.
Probably thought he don't deserve to be in here. And then when it nearly went wrong, it should have gone wrong. But when it nearly went wrong, professional fighters, as good as they are, who's to say that he didn't question himself and think, am I as good as I really think I am?
Yep.
You know, get them doubts in your head. You don't know. It just seems like a bit of a tortured soul at times, Josh. Probably a bit harsh on himself. I will say, though, he did, even though he walked out of the ring, he addressed it after and said, listen, I didn't want to say anything that I would have regretted.
Yep.
And then he were full of praise for Ekow. So let's just see what Josh does. I mean, he's got some fights out there. He's probably got more options than Ekow, if we're honest.
Yeah.
So,
which isn't right, but
you know, let's see.
Right.
And as for Ekow, listen, I mean, what do we say? Do we say put him in with Boots? Let Boots make a voluntary against him. Let him earn a lot of money. You know, I think like next for Ekow will be like Akan said, it might be a European or it might be a world title eliminator against, you know, someone decent.
Killer of a division, though, and it does absolute killer of a division.
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, it is, and you know, you just got to look at his style. I mean, Boots would just have his way with him, but that's no disgrace.
No, he's special.
But yeah, I think a world title eliminator could be next. For him.
Okay, move on to the last topic before we do a bit of a quick fire round, which I'll explain after this. One for our favourite Canadian friend here. Anthony Joshua signs a 2-fight deal with Turkey. So, simple question on this one, lads. Who do you think the 2-fight deal is with? I don't think it'll be Tyson Fury straight away. He's making noises that it won't be him, but he's a game player. But just a round robin regarding who you think these 2 fights will be with. Brett, coming to you.
Dylan White will be that fight, and then
Wembley for that.
Yeah, and then And then I know you've got 2-fight deal there, but if you are to believe any of the rumors that you're reading, it's that he gets through Dylan White, and then it's Tyson with the 2-fight deal, one in Saudi, and then one at Wembley. But I will say this: I know we did me and you did a special on it, Carl. Is that I've got my own opinions on Tyson Fury. I've given him a lot of crap over the years, but boy, does he look in good shape right now. Like doing 3 sessions a day. It's not just for the Instagram. He's on it. He's out in the roads. He looks.
Is he playing games though, Brett? Is he playing? He's great. He's great into it. The mind book. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Listen. The other thing is, I don't think AJ plays into any of this. Yeah. AJ will not give us shit that he's in the gym 3 times a day or running roads at Morecambe. AJ won't care. I think AJ's got a serious fight on his hand, and the fact of the matter is if Dylan White, he's got to get ready for a Dylan White, because reality is, lads, I won't take too much of the time on this, as you know, Carl, I could talk on it all day. The reality is that's a gamble in itself to take Dylan White on, because no one really wants to see it, but we'll forgive him if he gets through him to fight Tyson. So it's almost like it's the only opponent. Forget Bakole. If Bacole's already being matched up with a Talma, why would AJ want to be matched up with Bakole? Only, again, as a cash out. But the reality is,
I do want to see it. That fight intrigues me. I'll tell you why just quickly. Because we don't know what's left in Dillian White either. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's got left. He could go in there and chin AJ. We don't know.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of jeopardy around that fight. So if that happens, it really does intrigue me. It does.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, good fight for the general public. The third fight, amateur win for Dylan, pro win for AJ. Who's taking the third fight? Turkey will pay him a right load of money, and if AJ looks good because of the style that Dylan come forwards and he lands that uppercut that normally puts Dylan to sleep, then AJ then looks like a superstar, and we're all excited for that fight with Tyson.
Okay, Dad, same question to you, but I'm going to throw an additional one in. Does Fury have one before he jumps in with AJ if it happens?
Possibly fight on the same card. That's usual code of practice, isn't it? Usually both fight on the same card, and then they sit ringside and slag each other off and say they're going to kill each other, and then in back say, yeah, we've just added another 20 million each here.
Yeah, and
shake hands. Yeah, possibly, but I think it'll be Dillian and AJ.
It'd be a run over for Tyson, though, wouldn't it? It'd be a run over because they're not gonna risk. You're not gonna put him in there with anybody of anything.
Yeah. No,
as long as he's not Del Boy.
So no, I doubt it.
Okay, cheers for that, Dad. Mick, same thing to you, fella. Give us your thoughts on AJ and who these two or three fight deal, however you want to look at it is.
Yeah, I think Brett nailed it. We're looking at Dylan White, which I still think is dangerous, to be honest with you, because I still think Dylan White could put him to sleep. I mean, he had him on skates in the first fight. They're both at the same sort of point in the career, like Brett said. Washed up sounds like a harsh term, but I agree with it. Yeah, it's a dangerous fight for AJ, but I think that's the fight they'll take. I mean, if we're looking at it, he's coming off the back of elbow surgery. He's looking at least a year out of the ring and going in against somebody who he's got previous with. It's got a recipe there for a disaster, hasn't it? But yeah, the White fight, and then we'll see the Fury fight. I think we probably will see Fury have a run over as well, though.
You better hope White don't get sparked next weekend in Ipswich then. Well, that could put a cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, in a way, I sort of hope it does. Because I'll watch the bloody White fight, but I wouldn't say I want to see it. I'm not pining for it, if you know what I mean.
Fast track for Fury fight, though, doesn't it? If they get rid of White, fast track Fury fight.
I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah, and like Brett said before, the Fury fight will be a Saudi fight, and then the rematch potentially Wembley.
I think it might be the other way around. I think the first fight might be Wembley, to be honest. But let's see. Cheers, mate. Orkan, coming to you last. Give us your thoughts regarding AJ in this 2 or 3 fight deal.
I think first fight could be Dylan White, maybe Efe Ayagba, December time, November, December time. And the second fight, maybe Daniel Dubois rematch.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm going to finish the show off with some quick fire questions. So I'm going to fire a question at you. I don't want none of this looking at your notes above you like Andy does every time we do a show. Just straight off the hip, give me your answer. So I'm going to start with Orkan. Orkan, who wins out of Wardley versus Hooney? Come on, Orkan, hurry up.
Hooney split decision.
Okay. Mick, does Lee Wood retire?
Yes.
Daz, who wins out of Josh Kelly and Conor Ben?
Arrow.
Out of Josh Kelly. If Conor Ben fought Josh Kelly, who would win?
Conor Ben.
Brett, who wins out of... Oh, nice to see your dog making an appearance. That dog's a clever on the show. Okay, Brett, who wins out of Hitchens or Cambosis Jr.?
Oh.
Come on, Brett, I don't know. Sitting back thinking about it.
Hitchens.
Back to you, Orkan. Who's the best promoter in Britain? Come on, Orkan.
I have to say Frank Warren at the moment.
Okay. Mick, best pundit on the zone.
Cool.
On,
Can you
Mick.
class Addy as a pundit?
If you want to, I haven't got no rules and regs.
I like his breakdowns. So yeah.
Okay, Daz and the dog. What's the dog's name, by the way, Daz?
Wilf.
So Daz and Wilf. Who wins out of Callum Smith and Benavides?
Ooh.
Come on,
Ooh.
have a word with Wilf.
Callum Smith.
Interesting. Brett, Brett, I'm sorry. Who wins out of Crawford Canelo? That fake laugh while you think about it. Come on.
Canelo.
Orkan.
Oh, can I answer that question as well?
Daz.
Crawford.
What about you?
I agree with Daz. Crawford.
Oh, hold on a minute. Everyone gets the opinion on my question. What's that all about?
Crawford.
Hey, what's that all about?
Wait, you're not on a mastermind, Just roll with it. Okay.
Saying.
Who am I with now? I've lost train of thought. Is it Orkan?
Yeah.
Orkan,
Yeah.
Who wins out of Warrington versus Wood?
Wood.
Ooh. Mate, I think I know the answer to this. I've covered it already. But who wins out of Fury AJ?
I've always said AJ.
Oh. Daz and Wilf. Who wins out of Tank versus Stevenson?
Oh.
Stevenson. Easily.
Who? Sorry, broke up a little bit. Give me that again.
Easily. By a distance, some points.
Okay. And last one for Brett. Who wins out of Dave Allen versus Wilder?
Do you know what? I'm picking Dave Allen. I don't give a crap. I don't care, mate. I'm picking Dave Allen. Let's have it, Dave.
I do. So them quick fire questions are quite good, right? Because they put you on the spot to answer straight away. So that's something that I'll start doing more of them to finish the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, Martin, quick fire.
Go on, then.
Quick fire. Start with you, Carl. Who wins, Nicola Otwell or Marie Connon?
Conan.
You're gonna lock your doors tonight, bud.
No, Oatwell. I think Oatwell will stop her, Dad. I think she'll stop her around 9 or 10.
She's tough. She's a tough
She'll
girl.
stop her. She'll
Very,
stop
very
her.
tough.
Nicola will stop her.
Very tough.
Well, then get the others, Hank. I don't want you only coming for me.
Oh, go on, O'Connor. Nicola O'Connor.
Nicola Hopwell on majority decision.
Majority decision.
Majority. Mate.
As you know, mate, I'm coming to support Nicola.
Yeah. So Nicola wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Nick, by any means necessary, she's getting the job done.
I think she'll stop her.
Oh, if she's got to get down and dirty, mate, she's getting down and dirty. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah.
Show
Like
her
I
a
say,
few little tricks.
she's got the best coach in the game, Dad, hasn't she?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call him best coaching game. I mean,
No,
I think he got a bit
not
excited with that.
Not really.
Yeah. Well, listen, if that's his opinion, I'm flattered. But in a few years, who knows? I might be regarded as one at best. Who knows?
Well, you're obviously regarded highly by Ebony and Nicola, so you're on your way to being the best, mate, aren't you? You must have something about you. But I'm not in the Metcalf appreciation anymore.
I must know what I'm doing.
You must know what you're doing. I'll give you that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, a little bit.
No, give yourself some credit, Dad. You clearly know what you're doing. All joking aside. So, Orkan, thank you very much for joining, young man, all the way from Scandinavia. Much appreciated. Nick,
Thank you.
From the Derbyshire, the outback.
Thank you.
I won't name where you are because you might have fans popping on your door, knocking on the door for your analysing skills that you're demonstrating each week. So, I'll just say Derbyshire.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Brett, thanks for joining, fella. I'm conscious of the time zone difference. So thanks for spending some time during your working day.
There's a fellow Canadian in the comments section, Cedric Ben. What up, brother?
Any relation to Connor?
Yeah, Cedric's a good guy. He's a coach for Boxing Canada or whatever you call it over there. So he's a nice contact to have. He's a good guy, Brett.
Yeah, sound.
Proper Canadian, you know what I mean? And last but not least, Daz, thanks for joining, fella. I know you're busy, obviously getting Nicola prepared. Thanks for Will for making a presence and brought a bit of glamour to the show at last. This has been Last Bell Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Littons FC Travel. Post your comments below if you agree or disagree, and we'll see you on next week's show. Thank you very much.